you're live.
Hey garden friends, thanks for hanging with us. So sorry, we are learning as we go with this live stuff. We are trying to figure it out. I'm trying to show you the gardens, but we're having some technical difficulties. Wi-Fi, data, satellite, yada, yada, yada. But let's talk about pretty plants. So if you were with us before, I showed you a bed that we started planting up a couple of weeks ago, and now we're going to focus on these beautiful colors behind me. This is what we call our award winners bed. So I don't know how, I'm sure most of you know and love proven winners, but if you don't know, all proven winners plants go through vigorous trials and testing. Not every plant can be a proven winners plant. Years of trials and tests go into proven winners plants. And as they're going through those trials all across the country, so from the cold climate to the warm climate to the dry spaces, the really humid spaces, we have tests out in all of those different things, because the whole goal and mission behind proven winners plants is so that we have success in our gardens at home. So we make sure we test our plants everywhere so that what grows great for you in Florida can also grow great for me here in Michigan. So as they're at these testing sites and stuff, and all of the lucky people that get to trial and test them out for a few years, they receive awards. And it can be best performance or color or vigor, how quickly and how fast it grows or how big it grows, best garden performance, all of those things. So we planted a whole bed this year highlighting some of our best-selling award winners. And I don't know if you've noticed on the website, but we have it in lots of different spaces. We're trying to get updates. We have plants that have won almost 300 to 400 awards. Bubblegum Supertunia, amazing plant. And all together, we are the most award-winning plant brand. No other plant brand can say that. We are the most award-winning plant brand. We put a lot of time and effort to make sure that we have the absolute best plants on the market so that gardeners like us at home can plant and sit back and enjoy. That's the name of the game, right? Our plants have won over 11,000 awards. That's a lot of awards, you guys. So that's what I love so much, because we can trust this. We can trust it. I would not be putting myself out here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all the lives saying these things if I didn't wholeheartedly believe in it. And I do. I use them at home, and I want you to use them at home because we can trust them. They're going to be easy on us. They're forgiving of us. I need a lot of grace. I'm not the best gardener out there. Know a lot about plants. Can talk about them all day long with my garden friends. But I get busy, you know? So anyways, enough of me jabber-jawing. How many of you knew that we went through tests and trials? Anybody out there in live land know about our proven winners testing and trials, or see, in our emails? If you're signed up, if you're not signed up, you should sign up. If you sign up for our emails, you'll get notified of our crazy sales, which, by the way, right now, all of our Eco Plus Grandes, Eco Plus Court annuals, and our Royale annuals are on sale. Up to 35% off our Grandes and Quarts. So if you're still planting up those awesome combos, we have all the thrillers and spillers of your dreams. And you can save up to 35%. And our Royales are buy 3, get 1 free. So why not get some free plants? ProvenWinnersDirect.com. All right, so let's go check out some pretties. So this bed, as I mentioned, it is our award winners bed. And what the garden crew did was they kind of chose our best-selling award winners over the years. So in the front, we've got the purple fountain. I mentioned that earlier if you were with us before our little technical difficulties. This is a powerhouse grass for the landscape. I've also used it in containers. It gets a massive root ball. So if you're planting it in a pot, you're gonna wanna make sure it's a big, big container with lots of soil volume. This whole space is going to be filled in. I think it gets to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. And obviously those little dainty plumes on top, that beigey plume, stunning. What I love most about grasses is they are an easy transition of the seasons. So towards the end of the summer, I'm kind of tired of my summer colors and ready for fall. All of the grasses make that transition super easy because you can still enjoy this until frost, and probably, to be honest, well beyond it. It's a powerhouse. Love, love, love this guy. And then speaking of grasses, right behind there, we have, I'm guessing that's Prince Tut. It could also be King Tut, but I'm guessing it's Prince. Prince stays a little bit smaller than the King, obviously, but man, is that a cool plant. That's going to get nice and tall, fill in this space really great, creates awesome height and that vertical look in the landscape and in your containers. The cool thing about planting in the landscape like this is obviously you can still use the method of the thriller, filler, spiller. So in front of the tuts, you can see the Ipomoea. That's the Ipomoea light green. That's gonna come right over these rocks. In the end of July, mid-August, it's going to be spilling all over these rocks. It's going to be stunning. I can't wait to see it. If you've never used Ipomoea in the ground, I strongly recommend. It's a great ground cover, fills up a lot of space, and actually mad props to my sweet precious mom. She was the first person that I ever saw do that. She had some roses and she has a lot of space around them, so she threw in some Ipomoea and it took up the whole ground. It was this beautiful chartreuse ground cover on those bright hot pink roses. It was stunning. My mom is a master gardener without the paperwork to prove it. She started my love for all of this. Thanks for watching if you're watching, Mom. All right, so behind our tuts and our Ipomoea, we have the beautiful jazzberry, Supertunia Vista jazzberry. This is a top seller year after year after year. Not only does she have the most magnificent color, it is very vigorous. So if you were looking for a plant that is going to be the most bang for your buck, any of the Vista Supertunias will do. This guy is going to fill up like 3 feet of space. So obviously we pack them in really tight here in the Signature Gardens. You know, we're looking for the wow factor, but even if you had the same amount of space, you would not need this many plants. Not at all, probably a third tops. But we like to pack them in because that's fun, and we can, because we are proven winners, right? Jazzberry, strongly, strongly recommend. Who's planted jazzberry? Have any of you enjoyed this? She's literally one of the queens of my gardening heart. Anybody else agree?
Got a question from Facebook. Can you tell us more about the trialing?
Sure, I would love to. So essentially there's trial stations all over the country. Like I mentioned, in the cold climates, in the warm climates, in the hot arid climates, in the hot humid climates, and we send all of our plants to all of these different trial stations for lots of people to trial and test them out and see how they're going to perform. So when they're in these trials and testing things, not every plant comes out a proven winners. If it doesn't have the best coloring, if it doesn't have a great growth habit, if it's not vigorous, if it can't take the heat or take the cold or take the humidity, it doesn't become a proven winners. They are literally trialed and tested for great garden performance. If they don't have great garden performance, they don't become proven winners. That's the beauty in all of this for us as gardeners. That's why I'm so sold out for proven winners plants. Because again, as I've mentioned, I'm a bit of a lazy gardener. I love to get everything done and everything pretty, and then sometimes life gets busy and I forget to water. But because of their genetics, because they've already been trialed and tested in all of the different areas, they withstand all of that. They withstand me. They really do. And our plants have won over 11,000 awards. No other plant brand can say that. We are the most award-winning plant brand. Every single plant that you see on the Proven Winners line has been trialed and tested for many, many years, not just throw them in for a season, many years. And so during those trials and those testing, we learn. We might have, like Royal Velvet. Royal Velvet has been around for many, many years. It's always a top seller. We don't have issues with people not loving Royal Velvet. But the great thing about Proven Winners, they're like, hey, let's see if we can make this better. And so they send it back, they make improvements, and they release it as an improved version. I'm sorry, but if we can't trust that as gardeners, I don't know what we can trust.
Erica says, hi, Nikki from YouTube.
Hi, Erica. Thank you so much for watching. Our YouTube friends, thanks for joining.
And in regard to jazzberry, got 2 from Facebook that say they love jazzberry and 1 from YouTube. I love it. I've planted it 3 years now.
Yes, 3 years. It's one of those plants that once you plant her, you fall in love, and then you have to plant her every year. I completely agree. I don't think I've not planted at least a little bit of jazzberry in the last 4 to 5 years.
Watching from Northwest Florida, my go-to nurseries are The Garden at Peach Creek and Stone Mill Creek Nursery.
I love that. Thank you so much for watching from Florida. I bet it's so hot for you guys. It's been chilly here in Michigan. Our plants are ready for that Florida heat.
And a question, can you explain how a plant wins an award?
So it's basically, there's all the testing sites have their own criteria that they're looking for and testing on and stuff. And so they award it with like top performer or can take the heat, best coloring. There's lots of different criterias that they're testing on. And then they create awards and then they award it with, you know, if they had, let's say, 5 different Supertunias, and they picked the one that did the absolute best in all of the trial sites, and they all awarded it top performer. It's all of the people that are doing the testing and the trialing. They're the ones that give the awards.
We need a hydrangea that can withstand the heat and humidity in central Texas. The struggle is real.
Oh, yes. Probably a zone 9, I would guess. The panicles are going to be your best bet in Texas. And I don't even want to say that I guarantee it there, because you're right, that struggle is real. But the panicles are going to be the most hardy and the most tolerant of that heat and sun. And then maybe plant it in a spot where it only gets morning sun. That way in the afternoon when the heat really kicks in, it's got some reprieve from that. Might help, no guarantees. I feel your pain and I'm so sorry.
Got a couple about the Coleus in the middle there. Some people asking what is it, and they're saying it's striking.
That is the Sedona Sunset Color Blaze. I have grown Coleus for years and years and years. I mean, it's one of those plants that it doesn't matter what garden center you're at, you see it, you fall in love, you have to get it. I've never had as much success with Coleus as I have the Color Blaze series. It takes the heat, it takes the sun, it can go in the shade. Look at those magnificent colors. It's stunning, stunning, and it transitions. So you'll see the Sedona gets a little orangey, gets a little purpley in the centers. It has this glorious transition, striking color, and that's how all of the Coleus are. I mean, you can just about get any color Coleus you want and you can plant them anywhere. That is the Wicked Witch that you're seeing right now. I love that rippled edge and that lime green. I mean, is Wicked Witch not the best name for that anyways? Coleus is so easy to grow, very tolerant, very, very tolerant. All the colors, you don't need to prune them, you don't need to deadhead them. They just have this magnificent foliage. Lots of award-winning Coleus in the Color Blaze series.
Got a comment from Facebook, this bed is so pretty.
I agree. Thank you so much for joining and watching. I'm so excited that we get to show you these pretties. I'm in love with this bed. And actually what they did in the center with the grasses that you can see, they kind of did this zigzag. So next to the grasses in the middle, you can see their angel face. Those guys aren't in bloom yet, but they did this zigzag. So I can't wait for this to fill in. And once the height really takes off, it's gonna look awesome to see that pattern throughout. That's what I love about landscape planting. I mean, I am a combo girl. I love my containers. You can be as creative as you want, but I think we get kind of like, we put ourselves in a box. But if you think of the landscape in the same way you think of a container, it's essentially the same thing. And that's what our garden crew's done here. They've created these magnificent layers. You've got your thrillers and your spillers and your fillers, but it's this glorious, just all these layers of colors and textures, and those grasses providing this amazing movement. It's stunning. They did an amazing job, and I'm so excited to show you guys.
How long do they usually take to fill in once they're planted? That's from Gracie on Facebook.
Great question, Gracie. Thanks so much for joining. Not long at all. So I would say these guys have been planted, I don't know for sure, but I would say anywhere from 2 weeks to a week and a half. So not very long. Not very long at all. And it's been cold here in Michigan. And look at these guys take off. I mean, does that not show you that they are award-winning plants? It's been cold, cloudy, gloomy in Michigan the last 2 weeks. I mean, last weekend we had a nice weekend, but it was still pretty chilly. I don't think it's hit even 75. It's been in the 60s, and these guys have probably doubled in size since they were planted. So I would say within I'd give it another 2 to 3 weeks if we can get some sun and if we can get some heat, and I will be hard pressed to see some soil in these beds.
Marie from YouTube said, Coleus, so easy to propagate too.
Oh yes, great point, Marie. Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching.
Kelly asked, how are the planters we filled in last week doing?
I love it, Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us again. They are filling in so good. I did a lot of work. I have this space behind my garage where we have a fire pit, just a little homemade fire pit that we made, and we hang out. All the kids love it. And actually my teenage daughter, her and her friends are really loving it. But it's so fun. So I cleared all that space out over the weekend. I laid some pea gravel, and those combinations that we planted up last week, they are tucked back there. And so those bright colors of the hoopla and the jazzberry, and we did the lantana and the coral sun superbells, it just has this bright pop of color against the white fence in the back. I love it. I'll show you guys. We'll do an update of that. Thanks so much for asking and watching again, Kelly.
Sherry from Facebook says, I can't wait till my plants bloom in a couple weeks.
I know. I feel you, Sherry. I've got a couple plant blooms, but man, I find much greater success with that. I know it's hard for us to be patient and wait for them to grow and start popping that color, but mine last. They last and last up until frost, and so I'm a firm believer in starting small, even though it's hard on us.
Vanessa said, Coleus is amazing.
I agree, Vanessa. Thanks so much for watching and for your comments, guys. All right, so I'm hearing that we love the Coleus. I'm hearing that lots of people have had success with that. What you're seeing right now is the Superbena whiteout. We've got lots of Superbena in this bed as well. We're gonna kind of wiggle a little bit and take you guys around, but I wanna hear who's grown Superbena. How many of you have checked out the Superbenas? I am sold out for Superbena, sold out. And I feel like there's gonna be some of you that are feeling me, especially if you're a gardener that struggles to keep up sometimes. Any Superbena lovers out there? Not yet. All right, I'll be patient. Superbena is so easy to grow. I love a plant that's easy to grow. Most all of the Proven Winners plants that I've grown are easy, so I know I sound repetitive. I do, but it's the truth. So I'm gonna keep saying it. It's so easy to grow. It's heat tolerant, it's drought tolerant. So my gardeners that are in the warmer climates or the ones that are struggling to keep up or have water restrictions and stuff, Superbena is a great one to grow because it has that awesome tolerance, but it pushes out amazing color. I love because it trails and it fills in. A couple years ago, we have this huge hill in the back of the gardens over here, and the team did all of the different Superbenas. And so it was just this huge, amazing hill of all of the different benas. And I'm telling you, you want to talk about powerhouse plant, amazing. So I've always loved them because they have great colors and stuff, but what really hooked me in on the Superbenas is pink cashmere. It really hooked me in a couple of years ago. And again, I'm bringing up my mom. She's my inspiration, but she had some at home too, and she's got this beautiful tiered like fountain that she turned into a planter. She's very creative, and she put the pink cashmere in that, and oh my gosh, it was stunning. And so then my mom is really notorious for moving things around. Towards the end of the season, she's like, oh, I've got some space in my landscape. She took it from the planter, from the tiered fountain, and put it in the ground, and it lasted, it withstood a snow even in November. Pink cashmere, powerhouse, and it's got the perfect pink. Maybe we can find some of it out here. I'm not sure if it's planted up in this bed or not. Allison, you love sparkling amethyst? I do too. Purple, purple's my favorite. That's another one, man. You cannot go wrong with these. Megan, peachy keen. I love to hear that. I feel like not enough people know and love that plant. I agree, Megan. Peachy keen. So good, all of them. Caitlin, pink cashmere as well. Lots of lovers of pink cashmere. You can't go wrong. I'm telling you, if you're looking for wow, you want your neighbors to ask you what your plants are, Superbena pink cashmere. All right, let's check out some more plants. Let's walk over here a little bit. I don't know that I've talked about the angel face yet. I gotta give this Angelonia some love. Angelonia is one of my all-time favorite plants in a combination and in the ground. They get about 2 to 2.5 feet tall, and they fill out like crazy. And those stems are covered. So this is the Wedgwood blue. We also have a Wedgwood pink, that's pink and the white, the bicolors. I cannot speak enough about this. This is another heat tolerant. It really starts to push out when the summer heat hits. So it kind of is a slow start if you're in a cold climate. These actually look amazing. I'm guessing these were the Royale annuals that were planted up and not a Grande. Because these are really full. My Angelonia at home is not quite this full, and I planted Grandes. But they take a little bit to take off, but once that summer heat kicks in, man, they are the star of the show. So they're a great thriller. And this kind of goes in line with the design of this bed, with the zigzag of the height. So this is considered a thriller, but man, it fills out, guys. It gets probably 2 feet tall and wide. And just amazing color on these. So you're seeing the Wedgwood blue. We also have Wedgwood pink. We have plain blue, plain pink, white. Just a great plant. You can throw them pot, the ground, doesn't matter. Love it, love it, love it. I feel like not enough people know and love Angel Face. So give that girl some love.
Not Angel Face, but Grace Johnson would like to ask from Facebook, so can we still get Superbenas, or are you really sold out?
We are not sold out of Superbenas. Grace? All right, so you're gonna go to provenwinnersdirect.com. You're going to hover on annuals in the nav bar, and then you're gonna see a drop down. You'll see Supertunias, Superbells, Superbenas. Click on Superbenas. That's how you can find them. Thanks for asking, Grace. All right, so I'm seeing another one of my all-time favorites. And I always love to shout this plant out because I first grew it a couple years ago, probably 4 years ago. I had never seen it before. It's a double petunia. This is Miss Priscilla. Of course, it's purple, so I always find the new purples. And it's got a really cool habit. It kind of reminds me of a crawler, like I call it a crawler. We've got the spillers and stuff, but I kind of think of it as a crawling plant, kind of like the mini Vista Supertunias. So it has this really beautiful habit that spills over the containers, and you can't beat those double blooms. You hear the wind chime? Do we just want to sit? Let's just sit and listen to the wind chime, just for a minute. We should do these lives in the mornings with a cup of coffee, and we can listen to the wind chimes together while we look at the pretty plants. All right, so Miss Priscilla, I grew her a few years ago, fell in love, and then she kind of fell off the radar a little bit. And once we weren't really growing it here, and I'm like, where's Priscilla? And then I found it, and so we started growing it again. And this is a little shout out to my friend Mark, because we keep selling out of this Miss Priscilla. It's a variety that I brought back for Proven Winners Direct. I strongly recommend, and look, it's in the award-winning bed. Who'd have thunk? Strongly recommend. You can pair Priscilla with just about anything. I would consider her more of a spiller than a filler. She doesn't have that mounded habit like most of the Supertunias. Like I said, it kind of crawls, but oh, it's stunning, guys. Stunning in your containers and obviously in the ground. It's gonna be like a ground cover here. So then behind there, we have some lantana. So my friends in the heat, lantana can take the heat, and it's got those adorable ball-shaped blooms that I absolutely love. And those babies keep pushing all season long. Lots of different varieties of lantana, heat tolerant, drought tolerant. So if you're in a place with some water restrictions, highly recommend lantana. This one is Basket Tangelo. We have reds, we have pinks, we have yellows, lots and lots of different colors. So you really can't, I think it's very similar to our Superbenas, probably not as much bloom power though. I think the Benas definitely get some more blooms, but man, you can't beat the drought tolerance of the lantana. Anyone grown lantana? Any of you? We've got Berry Blend, we've got Royal Red Zone, we've got Basket Tangelo, we've got Citron, we've got Citrus Blend. Lots and lots of options. Anyone have success with lantana? I'm guessing my friends in the South. Any love yet on the lantana?
Got a lot of love for lantana, as well as a statement here from YouTube. Planted violet ice and a white one. Slow start because it's been cold here in Virginia.
Same. It's been cold here for us too, big time. But you know what? It won't be long. I'm going to be patient because here in a few months I'm going to be complaining that it's too hot, right? So we'll get all of our hard work and planting done in the nice cooler spring breeze.
And Megan from Facebook says, I love some of the citrus smelling ones for the yellow and oranges.
Yes, yes, agree, Megan. That's the icing on the cake for our plants, is when they're fragrant. Icing on the cake.
Vanessa says, yes, I had the yellow one last year and it was so pretty in zone 9B in Texas.
See, there we go. Our warm climate friends, if you haven't tried lantana, highly recommend, highly recommend. Awesome. All right. Should we keep looking at some pretties? Okay. So here's a new one. When I was talking earlier about the trials and the testing, and I talked about the improved versions. So the Bermuda Beach came out as a new variety. It's improved. So I grew this last year at home. I had never grown Bermuda Beach, so I have no reference point as to what it was like prior to the improvement. However, if you love coral, I mean, I feel like coral, you either love it or you're not really a coral person. So if you love coral, you cannot beat the Bermuda Beach. Absolutely loved the amount of blooms on these plants. And it's stunning. I love coral. I'm a coral girl. I actually did coral in my front yard this year. I've never done that before. So not the Bermuda Beach though. I did the apple blossom begonias. But this is a strong, strong performer. As you can see, it's filling in really nice. Guys, this has only been planted like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I would be willing to bet that these have about doubled in size. And for being that young, look at how many blooms. So pretty. Love the Bermuda Beach.
Kate on Facebook says Bermuda Beach is so cute. She took off for me in my container last year.
I love that, Kate. I love to hear it. Thanks so much. And we're coming into one of my favorite Superbenas outside of Miss Pink Cashmere, the Cobalt. Come on, guys. Look at this color. I mean, if you've watched our videos, you know purple is my favorite bloom color. But I paired the Superbena Cobalt with Royal Velvet, which is a classic favorite of mine, and the Rockin' Deep Purple. I did a monochromatic container by my side door. Oh, you can see it from the street. The Cobalt pops. I can't wait to see this fill in. Cannot wait. And then in front of it, we have some fiber optic grass. This is a perennial grass for some of our warmer zones. Look at those cool little bloom things that look like basically fiber optic. It's a great name for it. Super fun texture, great movement. These guys look like they need a little bit, oh, this one looks good. But a couple of them are a little floppy. Young, they have to adjust. But these are gonna fill in really, really nice.
Dan on Facebook says, great color.
Yes, Dan, I agree.
And Vanessa says, she's pretty, love everything purple.
Agree, yes. My favorite bloom color. I will never, ever not plant as much purple as possible.
And Laura says, I have this, zone 6, love it blooms nonstop.
Awesome. I love to hear it, Laura. Thanks so much. All right. So lots and lots of different award winners. So much stuff. I'm so excited that I got to give you guys a little sneak peek. We go live every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to do my best to take you through as much of the gardens as possible. We might end up in the greenhouse again next week. You never know. We kind of see what shakes out with the weather and how things are going and what's going on. Our gardens are a pop-in place. If you haven't visited us, please do. Our garden's open on June 15th. We just ask that you call first, 734-654-6420. Just give us a heads up because lots of events going on in the gardens. But I would love for you guys to come and visit. And those of you that are joining us for our garden event in August, we can't wait to see you. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Can't wait to see you again next week. I hope you have so much fun in the gardens this weekend. Happy planting!